Before we get the podcast started, we have to thank today's sponsor of the podcast, Wreckham Outdoors. Owned and managed by Captain Preston Long, Wreckham Outdoors is a full-service fishing charter based out of Corpus Christi, also servicing Port Mansfield and Port Aris. Whether you're a single angler or a group of 5, Captain Preston is equipped to take you on an outdoor venture you will never forget, while doing his best to make sure and put you and your group on the fish. You can find pricing and full information about their half and full day trips, along with other information about Wreckham Outdoors on their website, www.wreckhamoutdoors.com. You can also find more photos of their customers and their fish on their website, along with on their Facebook page and Instagram page at Wreckham Outdoors. Wreckham Outdoors, guns up, suns up.
Welcome to the official Guns Up Nation fan page podcast, the premier voice for the fearless fans of Raiderland and proud supporter of Texas Tech University. Let's meet today's hosts.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome into another installment of the Guns Up Nation podcast. I'm RC Maxfield alongside Tobias Bass down in H-Town. Tobias, how you doing, man?
Doing well, man. It's been raining a lot. It's rained like every single day. It just stopped raining actually a few minutes ago.
I got to call you out. So my girlfriend and I had a conversation about you. Haley does know Tobias, vice versa, right? So every time we start a podcast, we want to be friendly, right? That's what we have to do. We're what? I don't know how many miles away we are, but over 500, right?
What is she? Because you know how me and her relationship
I know. So I had to call you out a little bit. She said, if he says it's damn hot again down there, I'm going to go to Houston and personally slap him.
It'd be hot. It's hot here. I mean, it's Houston. It's not hot now, but it's usually pretty hot. I'm sure next week it'll be smoking hot. So.
No, I just thought it was funny because I was thinking back. I was like, she's right. He always does say that. But at the same time, what is he supposed to say?
There's nothing else. I mean, I'm sweating in the house. I don't know what she wants from me.
I know it was funny, though, because I literally went back and I listened to every podcast we've done with Guns Up Nation so far. The past 3 that you've done, hot. I'm just like, hey, at least he's consistent, right?
It's sick. It's sick. Like, I wish we had a pool in my backyard. My dad talking about getting a hot tub. What is that going to do?
Well, like an ice tub, right?
Yeah, I love a hot tub. Trust me, I don't think I don't. I read my stories in there, but it's hot. I don't need a hot tub in Houston.
I get it. No, but I had to wait and see. I was curious to see what you were going to say. But you said rain, so we're good. But on today's podcast, we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes and how he just seems like he's going to own the whole city of Kansas City by the time he's retired up there. And then we're going to talk about Jordyn Brooks officially signing with the Seattle Seahawks, and then a couple of potential games that could potentially be added to the Texas Tech football 2020 schedule. We saw what Iowa State did as they added Ball State yesterday. But let's get started with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Texas Tech himself, Patrick Mahomes. He is the newest member of the Kansas City Royals ownership group, making him the youngest sports owner in sports history. Like I said, by the time he's all done, Tobias, I mean, he might just own the whole city of Kansas City at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you have that much money just at your expense now. Why not just buy it all? Is he the youngest owner of a team?
Ever.
Yeah, I'm going to say he has to be. He has to be
He's
the youngest
24.
owner. He's 24 years old. Yeah, I'm going to say. Who knows? He has a restaurant up there already. God knows what else.
He got Whataburger up there.
Oh yeah, he's taking over. He might as well run for mayor next.
I just don't understand. So over under, Mahomes is 45 years old. Let's go 44 and a half. And obviously this is just me just being outlandish, but over under 44 and a half years old, do they just rename the whole city entirely Mahomes City?
They should. They gave Kevin Durant a city in Oklahoma. They hate him now. But I think Mahomes probably will get a city named after him at some point.
Just some podunk little town in Kansas or Missouri. They're just going to – or name like a suburb Mahomes or something like that.
For sure. I mean, he's going to get a statue. They're probably building it now. They should. And he's gonna own, the city of Kansas City.
Yeah, no, man, there were some people yesterday. You can check out the article about Patrick Mahomes becoming the part owner of the Kansas City Royals on gunsupnation.com. There were some people yesterday on our Facebook page that said this was a bad investment. And I thought to myself, it is never a bad investment to invest in a sports team. Never. It's never. You
the cash cow.
Yeah, it's basically, it's not 100% because everything has, misses.
Right.
But you got a really, really good chance to get a high return on investment, ROI on that. Even if it's just 5%, the Royals are worth $1 billion. That's what that's what they got bought for a couple of years ago. And right now Forbes says they're worth 1.2 billion. So let's just say he goes for 5% of it. It's 50 million. That's only 10% of his wealth.
Yeah.
Or that contract, which is insane.
Yeah. And then, even God forbid, they get really good in the next decade. Just say they get, just good.
They've won a World Series in the past decade.
Yeah, exactly. So if they get, they can return to that level of just close. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be more than happy with his investment. Sports is a cash cow. Sometimes stuff does happen. Pandemics happen. What stuff things do happen, but it's sports. You see a lot of athletes. As soon as they retire, the first thing they want to do, they want to get in the ownership business.
It's funny. It's funny though too, because we were hearing about it for a while. Travis Kelce, he's in the ownership group, at least the potential ownership group for the Mets. With A-Rod. So there might be two potential owners of MLB franchises on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow. They're going to be competing against you. They're going to be catching touchdown passes, then arguing at night, over ownership group. Has there ever been a player that's been that couldn't have been playing in the league that's owning another team in the league? That's crazy to me.
Well, in a separate league, there has been.
A separate league, okay.
Yeah, no. There's been multiple people that have done it. Where they just, it's a minority stake in it, obviously.
LeBron does it now too. He does it. He owns, he does it now.
The funny part is, let's say Travis Kelce does become a minority owner in for the Mets in that A-Rod group. What's funny is the last time that the Kansas City Royals won a World Series, do you know who they beat?
Mets.
The New York Mets. It's kind of funny. Kind of funny.
Everything comes full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of funny how that works out. But, I don't know what the more impressive feat was yesterday. He bought like a brand new 2020 Ferrari. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
car is just absolutely stupid. He's literally like, when you think about like your best life, right, Tobias? He's taking it to a level where you can't even dream.
No, what's crazy is, he hasn't even been, away from tech that long.
I went to school with him. I was in class with him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's just crazy thing about it, is like, you see him on cameras every day, you see him, it's just like, what 3-4 years can do for life. Like, what, 3 to 4 years from now.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't have predicted that. Like,
no.
You can't predict it. Like,
you can't even dream of what's happening to him. Like even in your dreams, you're somewhat realistic.
Right.
Like, it's just human nature. But like he's taking a dream that like every kid has, being the best quarterback. Potential. You have the potential to be the best quarterback of all time. Just like physical gifts, Tom Brady. It's going to be hard to top 6 rings. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
But like in terms of physical gifts, you might be the best quarterback of all time, and you have a chance to win. Right. That's what you want. That's what you dream. You dream of winning Super Bowls and everything. But, like, he's taking it to an extreme that, like, even dreams can't even fathom. You're looking at it. He literally brought the most prized fast food possession in arguably the best state. I'm going to go ahead and say the best state in the country, in Texas, in Whataburger, to Kansas City, Missouri, something that they have been asking for years. And just because he asked for it, they got it.
Yeah, no, he's a rock star. He's just, I don't even know how to explain it more than that. He's just simply a rock star. He's going to be, he's revolutionizing the game. Every few years you have this in all sports. You have that one guy that'll come in and change things. We're seeing that in front of our eyes at the age of 24.
And again, it might be blown out of proportion, but you have to think about it in terms of the day and age we live in. He's making the Beatles look small. Because we have social media. The Beatles didn't have that. So, like, in terms of grasping eyeballs, like, Patrick Mahomes is getting more eyeballs than the Beatles could when they first started coming to America and whatnot. Like, it's insane. Like, rock star is almost like an insult in a way when you think about what he's doing. Like, it's insane.
He's an icon. I mean, he's a 24-year-old icon.
Yeah, I mean, there will be nothing like this. You couldn't even dream of it. Like I said, I don't think there's going to be anybody else like this ever again. And if there is, I pray to God that he goes to Texas Tech and he's Patrick Mahomes' son. But we'll move on. So we're talking about football, obviously, at Texas Tech. Then you look at it, another big deal happened for Texas Tech football. Jordyn Brooks, first-round pick, only the second defensive player in program history to get picked in the first round, the other being Gabe Rivera back in 1983 by the Steelers. Jordyn Brooks got picked 27th overall in the past draft in 2020, and he officially signed his contract. It's a 4-year deal worth $12.35 million, and he gets a 6.458 signing bonus. Tobias, quick question. We didn't even talk about this. Does Seattle have the best linebacking group in the NFL?
Your best linebacker in the NFL, KJ Wright, Wagner, Brooks,
Jordyn Brooks. My
man Emmanuel Ellerbe coming off. He's a backup. They definitely have one of the best. I don't know if it is the best. I think it's up there. I think it's definitely in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah,
I think so.
And I mean, you got to think too. I mean, they just added Jamal Adams, and Jamal Adams is a safety, but he can come down and play hybrid linebacker.
He's just one of those guys. You just kind of throw him everywhere, and just good stuff happens. Like him with Derwin James, you just like Derwin James, Jamal Adams. Like you put them at DN for a full year, they're going to get 10 sacks. That's just how it's going to be. They're going to just somehow find a way to get 10 sacks.
Don't at me, but I need to place the vent real quick. I know it's a list, and it means absolutely nothing. The top 100 NFL list. I'm sure you've seen the list. It irked me last night to realize that Kevin Byard is not on that list.
Yeah, first of all, Levante David was a 100. I don't know if you know.
Yes. No. He should not be 100. He should be much higher. We move on, though. Another big news in Texas Tech football. Jordyn Brooks agrees to terms with the Seattle Seahawks. He's one of only 2 defensive players in Texas Tech football program history to get drafted in the first round, the other one being Gabe Rivera in 1983, who went to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You look at Brooks, drafted 27th overall, goes into a loaded linebacker room right now, Tobias, with Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright. Tobias, is that the best linebacking group in the NFL right now?
I'm not sure if they're the best, but I think they're definitely up in the top 3. I think like the Vikings, group of they're pretty solid. I think they're definitely in the top. You can think they are though.
Yeah, no, I mean, you have Bobby Wagner, has some Texas Tech ties too, because if you look at where he went to school, he went to Utah State. So obviously there's that. And then KJ Wright, he's a Pro Bowler. And then you have Jordyn Brooks. I mean, those are 3 guys that can go sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely good to see Jordyn get his deal, get his money. And, a lot of people thought that shoulder injury would hinder him in terms of what he was going to be able to do in terms of, draft stock. But 27th overall, you can't beat that.
Yeah, for sure. Let me shout out my guy, Emmanuel Ellerbe. He plays. He comes off the bench for them, but he's solid. He's a Houston guy. He's actually pretty good. I think that him and Brooks in the future, I think that'll be the 2 linebackers they have in the future when Wagner and KJ Wright decide to give it up. Yeah,
and I mean Bobby Wagner's 30 now. I think KJ is 29, I believe.
29 or 30. Yeah. And
then Jordyn Brooks. I mean, a lot of people think you draft a linebacker from the Big 12. A lot of people thought it was going to be, Kenneth Murray in terms of getting all the notoriety, but then you have Jordyn Brooks too. I mean, a lot of people don't realize how great he was just because Texas Tech's defense was not very good when he was here, but he was one of the lone bright spots for sure.
He was hurt too, so imagine what his number would have been if he wasn't hurt.
No, I know. I mean, unbelievable type stuff. So congrats to him on getting that deal. Last thing we're going to talk about before we jump into the main event. By the way, I don't even think I said the main event on today's show. It's going to be our favorite Texas Tech experience. So what that means is anything. It could be walking to class. It could be your first big football game, whatever it is. We're going to list ours. Tobias has got a few. I have a few as well. But one last note and news point before we jump into that is the 2020 football season. It looks like it's going to happen. There was just some breaking news, it looks like, on the ACC. Let me get on this real quick. The ACC football will begin September 7th through the 12th. The scheduling model will include 11 games, 10 conference games, and 1 non-conference. The conference announced today. Notre Dame will also play a 10-game conference schedule and be eligible to compete in the 2020 ACC football championship. Tobias, that to me just means we're having college football this year regardless.
I think we're going to have college football. The only thing that just scares me, I think, is everyone's concerns is just, the traveling, people getting sick. Okay, fine. Let's say your third string quarterback gets the virus. Well, he's in that quarterback room. What if all of them get it?
Exactly.
What do you do then? We also know some of these coaches, these aren't young guys. Some of these guys are 50, 60, even some of them are older than that.
True.
And some people's staff, they have multiple coaches that are older than that. So, it's just that type of thing. And then football, how with the NBA, they limited how many coaches you can bring, trainers you can bring, even players. Football, you need all of those guys. You need your wide position coach. You need the defensive coordinator. You need all the trainers. You need all the managers. You need them. They're very important. There's a lot of players, a lot of guys. They need stuff. So I don't think you can limit the amount of staff you're going to bring. So you're going to have to just make sure those guys are being tested a lot, and they like especially on campus, they can't do anything. Because my biggest fear is, it's a Saturday, they have a bye week. Oh, let's just go to Chimmy's. Well, there ain't no Chimmy's. There ain't none of that. You're not going to.
That's the thing. We don't know when bars are going to be back open.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's, the NFL's not doing it. The MLB isn't doing it either. The NBA had the best idea, but in terms of the bubble. But the thing is, you have to realize what that means. You can do that when it's the NBA, because basketball is probably the easiest sport to do that in, or soccer. Baseball, it's harder to do that. You're trying to play, a ton of games a day. You have to do it. It's a repetitive sport, right? Football, you can't really space those games out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because let's say you do that. Let's say you go to a bubble type situation, and, let's just take the ACC. They're going to play football. Let's just say Clemson and Boston College play at 11 a.m. and then there's 2 other games, right? Well, you can really only play 3 games a day unless you have 4, 5 fields to play on. And there's not a lot of places that are feasible and have the connections in terms of TVs and, electrical status that allows TVs to plug up and be there. And that's the big thing for these, conferences is TV rights. You look at it, I know Bowlesby, the Big 12 commissioner, he said in his remarks earlier this week that in order to complete their contract with ESPN and Fox, they have to have 57 total games on air. Okay, so what does that mean? Not every game is going to be on television. And what I mean by ESPN2, that means ESPN, ESPNU, ESPN, the main one, and then ABC, and then Fox, right? And Fox Sports, what's it called? Their network now. What is that called? Just the Fox Sports Network? I don't know what it's called. Not the regional one, but FS1. That's right.
FS1.
Yeah. So that's what he means by that. So if you look at that logistically, each team, and you have to put each team on there a number of times, right? They have to be on TV. I think not every team has to be on there every game, but you're going to put Oklahoma and Texas on there more because they're better, right? Same for Oklahoma State, right? You're not going to put Kansas State, and right now it sucks, but it's true. You're not going to put Texas Tech in a lot of marquee games. It's just how it is, right? So you have to divvy that up, and you have to figure out, because if, Kirby Hocutt, like he said earlier, if you lose revenue from football, that's 80% of Texas Tech athletics revenue, right? You're talking about no softball. You're talking about no volleyball. You're talking about all these sports going away, right? And so you have to figure out a way for football to work. And I think people are slowly starting to realize that. I know there's a lot of people in the camp, Tobias, you've probably seen too, that it doesn't matter. Football's not happening anyway this year. Like, it's going to happen. It has to happen. It has to.
Yeah, like you said, because, scholarships are getting cut, sports are going away, coaches are getting fired. It's just a trickle effect of, all the unfortunate possibilities that, that can happen. So I think it's crazy and it sucks, but just from the athletic standpoint, just making money for the school, you have to try. You have to try. And then, like you said, we've been watching football our whole life. Football is a 3-hour game.
Yeah.
We watch football all day. You watch 2 games, almost time to go to bed.
I mean, I'm one of those guys that, I don't know about you, but like if I don't have to go cover a Tech, football game, I'm waking up, I'm watching game day. That starts at 9 a.m. Central.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching Pac-12 after dark.
Yeah. So I'm saying, because realistically, you can watch about 3 games a day. That third game is night. It's 9, 10 p.m. at night. So,
Yeah.
Like you said, you don't have that many fields to do this. You only can play, like you said, 2 or 3 games a day. Then, you have to like cater it to, Pac-12 school have to play at this time because, they're used to the time. It's just a lot of different stuff you just have to just throw in. So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. So this is a question I have for you. Do you think a college campus is the safest place to be for student athletes?
Man,
best medical facility.
So I hate to do this, but it's the fact of the reality, right? And I'm going to bring race into it. If you look at a majority of, D1 football players, what are they? Yeah. African-American. That's just how it is, right? And if you look at the data from COVID, African-American communities are getting hit much harder than white communities, right? So if I'm thinking about it in that logistical sense, probably, honestly, right? You guarantee yourself in terms of you have food, you have shelter, you know that you're at least going to be able to get tested. And if you do test positive, you will have medication, if any available, that, a vaccine, you're going to be one of the first ones to get it, right? Now, the problem is if you're like Texas Tech, who I think actually has done a sensational job because they're dead set on opening, right? They've done a sensational job of alerting the public and students that are coming in, right, about wearing a mask and everything and other protocols that they put in place to keep people safe. I think Texas Tech has done a good job since they are dead set on opening, at least in a hybrid sense. I would probably say yes, just because of that data that we see in terms of, again, African-Americans consist of, I don't know the percentage, you might, but it's easily over 50% of D1 players. They're in the majority. And if you look at the data points around America, sadly, that's where the biggest impact is had in terms of, if you look at strictly race, it's African-Americans are getting hit harder by COVID because, well, you look at where African-Americans mostly live, it's in impoverished areas or areas that don't have as many resources to combat the virus or don't have the funds, So I think when you look at it in the sense of strictly that way, I would probably say yes, that is probably the safest place to be for student athletes. Now, if you're talking about a normal student like you or myself, it kind of depends.
It definitely depends on the funds. It's hit or miss and how safe you are. My biggest concern is too is, like I said, it's a bye week. Okay, the bars are closed. Let's just have this house party. These girls invited us over. Can't, like, if you're a coach, how do you monitor that? Because, you got, 80-plus players. You can't monitor all of them. You can't do it. It only takes one. It takes one.
And they're not getting paid. So you can't, just enclose them in a bubble type situation. Exactly. There's so many other layers to this. Like if they were getting paid, which they should, this is a completely different conversation. You know what I mean? So I really think that's really what it comes down to is, just answering your initial question. Yeah, I probably think it is the safest place.
I mean, it was
for student athletes anyway.
Yeah, I think I agree. There was an unnamed Big Ten school, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. 6 of their players tested positive for it.
Wasn't it Iowa? I thought they came out and said it was Iowa.
I think it might have been Iowa. Yeah, I think they wanted to go get food somewhere, and, it's unfortunate, but I can see it, It's a bye week or they have an off day. Let's all go to Chili's across the street. Well, it's just –
Exactly.
How do you – then, like I said, I know they're going to do things, having, classes online and things like that. But, there's still going to be, 40,000 kids in Lubbock, that's just students. You're not even talking about the population. That's just students.
And there's more free time too.
Exactly.
Since, your classes are online. You feel like, it's not necessarily true, but, I mean, I'm sure you think the same way. If my class is online, I'll just do it later. I can go do this other thing.
Hell, after the semester where I had like 2 or 3 online classes, that was the best semester of my college career, and I wasn't doing anything. I pushed it off. I'll do the day, the night of, because you have all week to just do whatever. And, like a college kid, we're living in weirdo times right now. I can see them, Fuzzies is open, let's go.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, you have that mindset. Every college kid has it. Some more so than others. Is you're invisible, or you're invincible, I should say. Like you said, like it's just how it is. Right or wrong, it's just how it is. And it's going to be interesting. But speaking of COVID, Texas Tech does have 2 open spots on their schedule now. Alabama State and Arizona are no longer on there, so they have September 12th and September 19th open. I was told by somebody, let's just say high up in Texas Tech athletics, that Texas Tech is in the process of getting those 2 games filled, one with a team in Texas and the other one out of state. I did not get any clarification on which school, but if you go digging and do a little bit of your homework, UTSA, New Mexico State, those schools make a lot of sense. And they do have open weeks during at least one of the 12th or the 19th week. So makes a lot of sense. Now, if they go by the ACC ruling, right, Texas Tech only has to fill 1 game, right? So they'll have 2 non-conference games, and then they'll have 9 in conference because they're going to play everybody. So if they're going to go the 11-game schedule, I think, especially after what Iowa State did, I am willing to bet a lot of money they go and try and get as many games as they possibly can.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see, too, the players are going to have to get tested for sure, but you have schools like, West Virginia, Iowa State, Kansas State. They're coming kind of far, or vice versa. We're going kind of far, wherever it's going to be. But it's just you got to just make sure they're getting tested, and those guys are just – when they land, chill out. Like, I know last year we did X, Y, and Z. We can't do it this year. I'm sorry.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I think that's the biggest thing is, so when you travel on that plane, do you have to travel earlier now, right? Typically you fly in Friday night. Do you have to fly in now Wednesday night and do a training day on Thursday, at that other team's facility? Because you're going to have to be quarantined off, right? So, like, it's going to take at least a day to get those results, or 2 hours, or however quick the test is going for them, since they'll get the faster ones, right? Like, do they have to travel a day early? And then that causes, the road team to be at a severe disadvantage because they're not allowed to, be on the field and get much more prep in.
Right. I mean, you're even seeing that with, like, high schools. I know, like, in Waco, coaches, they've been upset because, some, 5A, 6A, they're having, some of those conferences, they didn't cancel anything. They're letting them go to practice like normal whenever school starts back. But some conferences, or some divisions, they're not letting them practice till September. So you're going to play a school. They've had a couple of games under your belt. You just started practicing. So the thing is, things like that, college is different. Obviously, like you said, if this team's getting 2-3 more days of practice time than I am, how is that fair?
Exactly.
And how does that affect academically? Because, if I'm supposed to leave on a Friday, I'm going to miss Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. How does that work? Yeah, classes are online, but the work still has to get done.
Your student athlete first. The student comes first. That's the NCAA's, motto, right?
Exactly.
Another aspect of it, and just the Big 12, Texas is one of the top 10 schools in terms of students already testing positive. That study came out. They have almost 500 students that have tested positive just at UT alone. So It's going to be really interesting to see how that works. If I had to guess, I would say that Texas Tech is playing UTSA, University of New Mexico, or New Mexico State. It's going to be one of those 3, just a combination. I don't know which way they're going to go, but I fully expect it to get done because this person that told me the information, he hasn't steered me wrong yet. So wouldn't expect it this time. So we'll move on, though, Tobias. We'll get to the main event. Our favorite Texas Tech experience / memory / whatever you want to call this. So want to put this qualifier out first. This does not have to strictly be sports, right? This can be anything Texas Tech related. That it could be literally you getting accepted to Texas Tech. That's a fun experience, right? You get to get accepted in a school that you hopefully eventually graduate from. But I'll kick it off, though. And my first one has nothing to do with athletics at all. It was literally just walking to my first class as a student. I had no idea where I was going, to be honest with you. I was that guy that's like, I'll figure it out when I get there. But what I did was I got – and the bus route. So that bus stop at Holden Hall?
Yeah.
I got off right at Memorial Circle, and I was trying to go to the sports management building. That's over by the rec for people that don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm in Memorial Circle, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, because I wasn't the smartest guy in the world when I first got out to Tech. So I was like, oh, I'll just see the campus. It won't take me that long to walk to class.
Huge.
Yeah, it took me 20 minutes to get there. I was late to my first class ever, sat in the back, was sweating. My teacher asked why I was late, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know where the class was. And she was like, it's all right. Is this your first year here? I said, yes. Long story short, actually met 3 of my best friends in that class. So that was kind of cool. So, I mean, really for me, just that experience of being able to say, like, I went to my first college class, like on a major university, right, was just a really fun experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my first day is definitely on there for me. My first day was actually pretty rough. It got rough. It wasn't a good day. So
you were hammered, huh?
No, I get up. So I catch it. I lived at Regis Pass at the time. People know where that's at.
Oh gosh, you know what?
Yeah,
don't live there. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's don't get me started. But I'm going over there. The first stop, if you know, right going that way, you stop at it's not the rec, but it's like a sports management building.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why, but I panicked. I thought that I missed the stop to the MassCom, so I got off at the sports management building. I'm looking around like, where am I going? I said, oh, that's the building way down there. I'll just walk. So I walked from the sports management building all the way there. I'm covered. I'm sweaty. It's hot that day. It's humid. I go through a full class, full schedule of classes that day. It's time for me to go home. I wasn't familiar with the bus ride going back home because I don't know why. I think he took a different route or it didn't look familiar to me. So we're going home. He stops at my stop, to let me get off the bus to go to my apartment. I didn't think that was a stop, so I stayed on there. I rode the bus, the loop, like twice. I'm like, bro, I said, like, is he kidnapping me? Like, what? At some point, I'm like, at some point, you have to get off. Like, and then he noticed me, being on there. He's seen, 30, 40, 50 kids getting on and off this bus. He's like, hey, man, where do you live? I was like, right as bad. I said, have you stopped there? He said, I stopped there twice. This is going on my 3rd time. I was like, you serious? I was on that bus for like an hour. I was like, this is just horrible. So I mean, after that, I adjusted and I learned from it. But it was a wild first day for me.
Yeah, no, I had a bus route experience too, but it wasn't nearly that bad.
That was horrible. Oh God.
Yeah. The next moment for me was before I became a Texas Tech student was just my recruitment weekend. When I got recruited to go out there, it was the Tech football game. Davis Webb, it was Baker Mayfield's year, so Cliff was out there first year. They were number 15 in the country, 7-1, and they were welcoming in Oklahoma State on Halloween weekend. It was a blackout. Like, I was on the fence about going to Texas Tech. I'm not going to lie, Tech fans, you can call me out. I get it. I was thinking about going to Baylor or UT. I'm not going to lie about it. And when I went out to Lubbock, I was like, okay, Tech was going to offer me the most scholarship money. So I was like, obviously I need to go out there and see what it's about. My buddy was out here at the time, so we literally slept on his dorm room floor. And so we go to the game, and as soon as I walk in Jones AT&T Stadium, I was like, all right, I'm going to school here. Like, I'm going to school here. It's nuts. Like, I'm going to school here.
Was it a night game?
It was a night game. Like, yeah, I mean, it was prime time. They were on ESPN, man. They were number 15 in the country.
That'll do it.
I mean, they lost. They lost 45-31, but
Mason Rudolph is there. Should have been.
That sounds right. I just remember I was going to watch Baker because I was a Baker fan at the time, but he got hurt. It was one of the games that he missed, and Davis Webb came in, and Davis Webb was a true freshman. So Davis Webb was the quarterback. But, yeah, no, I was hooked instantaneously. I'd never been to Lubbock before that. I just remember getting in on Halloween night, went straight to a party, went back to my buddy's dorm room, passed out, woke up on Friday, checked out the campus a little bit. Memorial Circle caught my attention. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. But I was like, let's see what the football game is like. Partied that night. Then we go to the football game, and I was like, all right, we're good. This is where I'm going. Let's sign these papers right now.
Yeah. For me, it was between – so first I was thinking about going to Texas State. I was too close to home. I want to be far from home. I don't want to be anywhere near Houston. So it was between University of Arkansas or Tech.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Arkansas.
yeah, that was the other school. So I was like, I'm gonna go to Tech first. You know, definitely never been that far up in Texas. At least I'm gonna go up there. Walking around from this campus is beautiful. You know, beautiful girls, beautiful. I was like, so this might be where I want to be. If you go to the MCOM, ironically, it's crazy how things come full circle. What sold me when we walked into KTXT 88.1. That's what sold me because I was like, they have a radio station here. And then they were telling me, you know, how much hands-on experience you can get, all this other stuff. One of my first friends I guess I ever had as a kid, I know him since I was 5 years old. He ironically had just transferred to Tech as well. He was telling me, you know, all about the opportunities there. And the lady there, she sold me. So she actually was I don't think she's a cheerleader anymore, but my camp counselor, whatever, she was a cheerleader at the time. And she was just telling me all about the MCOM and, you know, they have radio stations here, how you can get involved. You know, 3 years later, at the time, I would be working there. I would have never guessed that. But it's crazy how life's just full circle. But KTXT subconsciously sold me to go to Tech.
There you go. Speaking of KTXT, another memory for me, or like honestly, this might be my favorite experience outside of, I don't think we need to say our favorite one. It was walking across the stage and everything like that. That's probably our favorite one. Because thank God college was over, right? For at least a second, you know, and then we both inevitably went back. But anyway, no, my favorite experience, like as a student, there's two. The first one was just strictly getting to call soccer, softball, and volleyball games for KTXT and just literally getting to talk crap on the radio as a job. Like that was my job for 3.5 years of college. Like I literally got to talk crap and I got paid for it on the, like it, like I don't know if there's a better job that any college kid could have. Like I'm sure there is, but I can't think of one. I literally got paid to talk sports, go to football games, go to basketball games, go to baseball games, go to every other sporting event. I got paid to go there. And then I got to pay, like I got paid to speak a terrible opinion about these sports, which was mine, obviously.
Yeah, no, KTXT, I mean, think about all the stuff we did last year at KTXT. You know what I mean? In a calendar year, we went to Tulsa. Well, let's go back. We covered NCAA women's soccer. We did that twice. You know, this is one of the best games I've ever seen, regardless of sport. The Pepperdine game, that was one of the best games I've ever got to see. We go to Tulsa with the basketball team. We go to Minneapolis, Final Four with the basketball team. We speak that was my first time, but we speak at a conference in St. Louis. You know, I've never done that before. That was cool. We go into super regionals and watching regionals with women, with men's, with the baseball team. We got to just see all different types of stuff. So
we got to cover another softball team that went to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did a lot. One of my favorite memories. This is my senior year. Erica Taylor's class. She doesn't even know. I think she works at Ohio State now. I come to class 2 minutes late, maybe. I mean, I'm trying to, hurry and sit down. Trying to hurry up. Sir, you're late. I know. Like, what do you mean? I know I'm late. Like, why are you telling everyone I'm late? I'm late. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just the bus was a little late. Yeah, that sounds good. But so what I do with students that are late in my class, I make them sing. I was like, sing? I said, I don't sing. I don't do that. She said, no, you're gonna sing. I said, yeah, I'm just gonna just leave now. So I said, oh, my mom's calling. I said, oh, my mom's calling me right now. I have to leave. She's like, oh, so now your phone's off of my class. You have to sing 2 songs. I said, I'm not singing 2 songs. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not doing it. She said, so anyway, here's the list of songs you have to sing. She said, would you like to come down here and sing it? I said, there's no way I'm coming down there. So she makes me sing a Will Smith song. I don't remember which one it was. I made the campus story that day. Well, TCU's campus story. I was all over Snapchat. It was one of the most embarrassing things in my tech career. I was on everyone's Snapchat. People were just like follow me on my Instagram just because I was all over Instagram. I was like, this isn't okay.
But it built your clout up.
Yeah, it did a little bit. I'm pretty sure I lost all those followers because they found out I wasn't that entertaining. But for a couple of days or so, like it was just like BSA. They were making fun of me during our meeting. I just like I don't even want to leave. I don't even want to like leave my apartment anymore because this is just so embarrassing.
I don't really have any. Oh no. My most embarrassing thing probably as a tech student was we know when it rains in Lubbock, it floods instantaneously, right? So my bright ass thought I could beat the water in the rain. So I lived at the Scarlet at the time, right behind Overton. And everybody knows the cut through between the now sports facility, the new sports performance facility, and the Jones. So that would be my walk home. So it was coming down okay. Like when I got off the bus to walk through there, it was coming down, right? I was like, all right, like the buses will probably flood if they cross University. I'll be stuck on the bus, and this is inevitable. So I was like, all right, let's just get this over with. So my bright ass thought, I was like, all right, just sprint home. It's not that far, Well, it's like a block, 2, 3 tops.
About.
So I was like, all right. So I sprint through the sports performance area. Nothing. I'm like, all right. By the way, this was when I was in shape and I didn't look like a dad. Anyway, so I sprint. I get to the light at University. This was before that stoplight was there. So while I'm running as fast as I can, I'm looking both ways to see if there's a car. No cars. I'm sprinting across. Little do I know that there's that island right in the middle, right? I hit that island. I fly. I'm like, oh, crap. But I saved myself somehow, and I catch I don't even know how I did it. I almost did the splits, but my right foot lands first, and I catch myself, almost hyperextend my knee, catch myself on the curb, and I start sprinting again. By this time, you cannot see the Overton. That's how hard it's raining. I'm right at that Starbucks now, right? At this point, it's still empty. It hadn't been Starbucks yet, but it's that Starbucks now right across from Jones. I am sprinting as fast as I can home, right? I get to the roundabout at the Overton. I'm like, oh, crap. I don't know where the curbs are here either. So I just start jumping. I look probably like the dumbest person in Lubbock history. I'm literally like skipping across like this, just literally across the water, right? So I'm trying to figure out a way to get into the Scarlet. You've seen the Scarlet before. There's that fence around it, and you can only really get in through one point of entry. Obviously, that makes sense. So there's one little spot where I sneak through, but little do I know there's like a sinkhole of mud, right? I step right into it. So I'm running across the parking lot right now. My whole right side of my body is brown with mud, and my roommates are just chilling on our patio, looking at me run across the parking lot, soaking wet, snapping it on Instagram Live. I'm just like, oh my God, this is not going to end well. So I literally get upstairs. The first thing I do is I literally strip like all the way down to my underwear on my front doorstep because I'm soaking wet. And like it probably the worst experience I had at Texas Tech.
At least they didn't lock the door, make it a big deal.
No. Thankfully they didn't do that, but it was bad. Like I literally took the hottest shower of my life. Like I damn near like 3rd-degree burns. No joke.
No, stuff like that almost made me want to transfer.
No, it almost did. I thought about it that night. I was like, do I really want to be here? Do I really want to get that piece of paper? Is that piece of paper worth it?
Yeah, some days like that, it's just rough. It's just like, what am I doing? Like,
I did get the piece of paper. It's right there, people. But I was just like, this isn't worth it. It's not worth it.
I have another. I know I have another funny story. I mean, some of them. One of them, it was just a crazy party we went to. We weren't even in Lubbock, but I definitely have some crazy. I'm trying to think if I have any. I know I have one Thanksgiving I ate. Thanksgiving with one of my professors. His wife threw down in the kitchen too. That was because I never went home for Thanksgiving, so I always would stay in Lubbock. And he invited me, me and a couple of my other classmates. We ate Thanksgiving dinner at his house. So his wife's a great cook.
Shout out that professor. Who is it?
It was Roger Satoff. Roger Satoff, that's who it was.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about him. You're not the only one.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. He's a great professor as well. Did I have any other
He used to come into the rec all the time and make fun of
me. Really?
Yeah. Yep. All the time when I worked at the rec. So, Tobias, we've listed a few of them. Give me your favorite experience or memory at Texas Tech. Your favorite one. And exclude graduation, because that's obviously the favorite one. It can be sports. It can be people. It can be whatever.
The Final Four, that experience was, life-changing because, it was just crazy. I would that was one of the best experiences of my life so far, going to a Final Four. And actually, not only did we cover, we were very hands-on. We were on the court before. We got to meet Hall of Famers. We got to meet other media members. That was my first time actually feeling like, a big boy journalist. That was my first time, ever feeling like that. I know, the whole experience of getting there, we almost died in that plane.
That damn Spirit Airlines, bro.
Yeah. I mean, like, the landing was just awful. Like,
I've never landed harder in my life.
Never. And I've jumped off swing sets. I've fallen off of a bunch of stuff. I've never landed hard. Like,
I've hit concrete before with my bare body. Like, that was harder.
Yeah, like he literally, it's like he didn't know he had wheels. He just we're there, and I was like, if I was asleep, I'm up now, like, that type of thing. He definitely landed harder. Any other favorite moments? I think that will probably be my favorite one, unless I remember something else.
No, that's 100% my favorite moment.
Yeah, that was yeah.
I mean, how many? There's not very many people like that get to say they got to cover a Final Four in college.
Yeah.
Like, there's just not very many people that got to do that. And then obviously, like, graduation, it's a little bit more impactful for me. I don't know if you're a first generation college student, but I mean, I'm a first generation college student, so like that was huge for my family. Just being able to see me actually walk across the stage, not with a high school diploma, but with a college diploma. It just kind of changed everything. So yeah, no, but the Final Four by far favorite event. I mean, shoot, we got to meet Coach Thompson from Georgetown. We got to go on the floor before the national championship game. Like, we got to see – we were literally staying on the same floor as, like, Charles Barkley and these journalists that you read about when you're a kid, and, like, all these other players. Like, Kenny Smith was there. Like, crazy stuff.
I got to meet Grant Hill, even though, I was scared to do it.
That was in Tulsa, though, right?
No, that was in Minneapolis. We had just finished talking to Mike from the Tribune in Minneapolis. We just finished talking, and we walked out, and he was right there.
Good old Rasball. Gotta love Rasball. Good dude. Yeah. Go follow him. If you want to know about Minneapolis sports, go follow Rasball on Twitter. He's a good dude.
He's a good follow. He's funny, too.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, he is.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he is. But no, I mean, he's going to the mall. They're going around. It was.
I swear to God, I thought that was the airport. You remember that story?
Yeah.
Like, I literally thought because so we went to Mall of America together, and it was cool because we didn't have to pay for Ubers or anything. Like, we were part of the media. So there was this guy, he was our age, probably going to the University of Minnesota, right? And yeah, he was our driver, and they had like this service there where a Buick would drive you for free since it's the, official car of the NCAA. And he was like, "Hey, where y'all needed to go?" And we were like, "Mall of America." He's like, "I can't take y'all there. Say you're going somewhere else, and I'll take you." And we were like, all right, bet. Like, we're going to the stadium. And he was like, all right, I can take you there. And then he drove us all the way to the Mall of America. And the crazy part is we called him to pick us up, and he did it too.
Yeah.
He gave us his personal phone number. I was like, all right. But when we were driving up to Mall of America, I was telling my girlfriend, Haley, who was with us at the time too, I was like, why is he driving us to the airport? Like, I literally thought when we pulled into the Mall of America, I thought it was the airport. That's how big it is. Like, I was like, why are we at the airport? Is it connected?
They have the same store on multiple floors, amusement parks, and an aquarium. We didn't even get to go in there. They have an aquarium in there.
No, the SpongeBob was 3 stories high.
Yeah. They have bumper cars in there, laser tag,
multiple putt-putts.
Yeah, about to say putt-putt. We did that. They had a mirror maze. They had that mall is crazy. You can't. It takes days to experience it. We didn't even get to. We didn't see half of it.
No, I bet we saw maybe a quarter of it tops.
Maybe. Maybe. Like, we were nowhere close.
No.
That was, it was cold there, and I mean, remember one of those nights. I don't remember what night it was. Me and one of my buddies, we went to a couple of bars that night. I mean, it was quiet. The area. We were right by the school. It was right by the campus, but it was pretty cool. You got to walk on the campus.
Beautiful campus. No, absolutely. Like the thing too for me that stood out with it was what's it called? When we got to like actually go to the stadium and everything, there was just multiple aspects of it where, you're looking around and you're thinking to yourself, like, this can't be real. You know what I mean? Like, this just can't be real. and aspects of it. Like when you walked into the stadium, I think the craziest aspect of the Final Four was obviously the games and everything. But do you remember the curtain story, Tobias?
Oh, how they blocked it off?
Do you remember how much the curtains were?
A couple mil.
It was $11 million for curtains. Because they had to be – the NCAA, apparently, for those who don't know, owns a specific color and shade of black. Like, they own it. Like, it's theirs. No one else can use it. And, like, that's the color of that curtain that they had to put because at U.S. Bank Stadium, the one half of the roof is all glass. So, like, I mean, it was just crazy. Just that whole city. Like, I was thinking the other day, actually, about it. And I was like, I don't know if there could have been a more perfect city for that to be in. Just for us, you know, like Atlanta would have been cool. Don't get me wrong. But like Minneapolis.
Maybe LA because it's LA. But.
Yeah. I mean, Minneapolis was just – it was freaking perfect, man. Absolutely perfect.
Perfect. We got to go to, Brackentown was cool. We walked around, just the city. We saw, where the Twins play. We got to see where the Lynx and the Timberwolves play.
Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah, no, like the thing is, I don't know if Tobias can hear me. He's frozen a little bit right now. But no, yeah, there we go. Yeah, now we can hear you too. We couldn't hear you for a second. You were frozen. What were you saying?
I was just saying this overall city was just beautiful. We walked all downtown where the Ferris where all the Final Four events, just the whole city was beautiful. We got to see what the Twins play, the Lynx, the Timberwolves, just the restaurants down there.
The Tech Bar.
Yeah, the Tech Bar as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we did. Then, like I said, the campus was beautiful. Campus was huge. They had a bowling alley on campus. Then,
crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely a very pretty. They had like a big like lake that goes through the entire campus.
That was the Mississippi River, bro.
Yeah, Mississippi River. Yeah, I'm sorry. Mississippi River ran right through the middle of the campus. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, I don't know if Tobias will admit this, but I beat his ass at Papa Shot too, so that was cool. What?
You cheated.
How did I cheat?
Your 3/4 of your entire body was over the thing. You weren't shooting it; you were laying it up. You were borderline dunking it. And then
think smarter, not harder. What the hell?
He's about to, really pissing me off.
So you're one of those guys. You're one of those guys probably where if Giannis has one last dribble at full speed and he jumps from the 3-point line, it's not a 3-pointer if he lays it up. Come on, you're that guy? You're going to be that guy now, Tobias?
Here's the thing. I would have forgiven all of it. But Haley, she was, that's your gal. And I get that. Like, she's going to support her man. But she was just really like, you're getting killed. I'm like, okay, well.
You were getting killed, though. You were getting killed.
I'm shooting you. You're laying it up. I mean,
be better. I can't help it that I got this length out here, Tobias. I'm built like a specimen. I'm a 5'9.5" specimen. Okay, I'm a specimen.
I'm
a physical freak.
I don't think that's true.
Well, obviously it's not true, but I was just smarter than you at this particular time.
That is fair. That is fair. Another underrated part of that trip was me bugging the hell out of Mike. Good Lord.
I forgot Mike was there for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, and his drunk friend too. I forgot what was his name. Oh my goodness. By the way, Mike writes over at Staking the Plains, and so does the other guy. I forgot the guy's name though, but he was drunk.
He was a good dude though. He was cool.
No, super good dude.
He was cool. And I mean, I was just bugging Mike literally the whole trip. We stayed in the same hotel. I was mocking him. He was mad. You know how Mike is. Mike's a funny dude. But that was definitely a very underrated part of the trip.
Yeah. No, he's an interesting dude, that's for sure. But you got any other memories you want to bring up, Tobias, or should we wrap it up?
Any interesting? No, I think no. As far as the trip, no. I mean, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't have any other experiences or anything either that I wanted to bring up, but I do got some exciting news. You can go buy some Patrick Mahomes swag off of gunsupnation.com. Go get that. And then we're, I think, 11 followers away from 15,000 on Twitter. So go look at that. And then also, if you're a Texas Tech fan and you like to write about Texas Tech and you want to write somewhere, come do it on gunsupnation.com. We'll be posting something on social media here really soon about potential writing opportunities. And if you're interested, there'll be a link there that you can send some of your work in on an email, and you could potentially be writing on gunsupnation.com as sports slowly start to pick up. If the ACC is any indication, that the Big 12 will probably do something very, very similar. But Tobias, you got anything else, man?
Anything else? I have one last story about how I met Brandon Francis. This is pretty funny.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
I was writing for the Daily Torador, and it was Coach Beard's first year. He was doing the dunk contest. It was like the midday madness type of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around. Brandon Francis. He can't play yet. He just transferred.
Mm-hmm.
So I see him. I don't know any of the basketball players. I looked them up. I didn't really know any of them like that. So I'm walking around. The guy I was with, he was pointing him out to me. His name is Brandon. He actually writes for Red Raider Sports. I said, who was that? He said, yeah, that's Brandon Francis, man. I said, oh yeah. I said, Brandon Francis, like the former 4-star recruit that went to Florida. I said, he goes there? He was like, yeah. I said, that's not Brandon Francis. He said, what do you mean? I said, he's fat. I said, he's fat as hell. I was like, that can't be him. I said, come on, man. I said, he plays with Dean or something. Like, he doesn't play basketball. He doesn't like a basketball player. He said, bro, that's Brandon Francis. I said, no, it's not. He's too fat. So, I'm curious now because he swore this is Brandon Francis. I said, Brandon, he's a nice guy. He's a funny dude. I said,
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he goes up. He said, this is Brandon Francis. Hey, he said, hey, what's up, man? He's from Puerto Rico. I was like, I said, why are you? I said, you're kind of big, huh? Like that. I was like, you're kind of big.
Wow.
He's like, what do you mean? I said, what do you mean? What I mean? You're huge. Like what do you mean? He was like, oh, you saying I'm fat? I said, I mean, you're a little big. You're a little big. And then we ended up becoming really good friends. But it was just funny. That's how I met him. I called him fat. Basically, he's a really good dude, super good guy. Best of luck to whatever what he's doing. I know he posted where he's playing basketball at I think a couple of days ago. But best of luck to him. He's a good friend of mine, and wishing him well.
All because he thought he was fat.
He look heavy to me, dude. I thought he played DN. I thought he was our starting DN at the time.
You love to see it sometimes. But We'll wrap it up right there for Tobias Bass. You can go follow him at Tobias_Bass on Twitter. I'm RC Maxfield. You can follow me at RCMB323. And, of course, go follow at Guns Up Nation on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And go follow us and, get involved on the website, gunsupnation.com. A lot of good content coming out. And, again, if you're an interested writer, be on the lookout for that post. And again, thank you to the 15,000 followers over on Twitter. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't followed us on Twitter, go be one of those 15,000 to get some of the best tech coverage you can find. But again, for Tobias Bass, I'm RC Maxfield. We'll catch y'all next time, guys. And as always, keep your guns up.
Thanks for listening to the Guns Up Nation podcast. The opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the fan page administrators, podcast hosts, and fans, and do not reflect the opinions of Texas Tech University or its affiliates. We are proud to support Texas Tech, its students, alumni, and fans.